The story of Dragon Ball, especially nowadays in the modern era, has been about epic battles. Until Dragon Ball Daima came along and the story went back to its classic roots. Goku and friends searching for Dragon Balls, experiencing epic adventures, and having epic fights. Well, there's epic and then there's hype. And I feel Dragon Ball is one of those series that just knows how to build up the hype for a moment that will quote-unquote break the internet. Now, breaking the internet and being peak are very internet terms, Twitter terms if you will, and can be a subjective thing. But what I have seen with Dragon Ball is that it continues to somehow break the internet by crashing Crunchyroll servers or by being one of the top trending topics on Twitter. But how does Dragon Ball do this consistently? Because from what I've seen, ever since Dragon Ball Super and when Dragon Ball Super was airing, Dragon Ball has continued to be the dominant show that outshone all other shows in terms of internet breaking hype moments. I think for starters, before the Battle of Gods movie, us Dragon Ball fans have been starved of content. We have seen the big three shonen titles in One Piece, Bleach and Naruto dominate anime and manga. We then saw One Piece completely take over and dominate the manga sales, especially during the Marineford War arc back in 2010, which then eventually made One Piece being the manga that has the highest sales of all time, surpassing Dragon Ball. I love good stories, but I also love action and adventure. So for myself, and I'm sure many other Dragon Ball fans, we diverted to other anime shows and mangas because there was no Dragon Ball content other than the games and the fan mangas. I was reading Dragon Ball AF by Toyotaro where we had Zycor and Super Saiyan 5, or even Dragon Ball New Age where we meet Vegeta's supposed half-brother, Rigor, who came to Earth to get his revenge on Vegeta. I'm sure you guys heard of this one, Dragon Ball Absalon, where this channel took it upon themselves to create a new Dragon Ball series. The first episode came out 12 years ago. It's got the AF characters there as well with Zycor and the famous Super Saiyan 5 transformation with white fur. The first episode has 17 million views. Did you guys hear that? 17 million views. If you go to YouTube and write down Goku Super Saiyan 10, there will be a 2-minute video with Goku at Super Saiyan 3, but with navy hair. That video was released 15 years ago and it has 3.1 million views. If you go to YouTube and write down Goku Super Saiyan 100, you will see a video with Spanish title Todas las fases del Goku 1 al 30. I'm not Spanish, but if you watch the video and see it, it's pretty self-explanatory. The guy did a Photoshop edit of Goku going from Super Saiyan 1 all the way up to Super Saiyan 30. Super Saiyan 1 to Super Saiyan 4 we have seen through Dragon Ball Z to GT, but the rest is all different color schemes he used with art and sprites from the Budokai games. My favorite has to be Super Saiyan 25 from this video. It's basically Super Saiyan 3 with red hair and red eyes, but he has an S in his forehead. Similar how the Majin characters like Majin Vegeta had an M on their foreheads. I'm assuming the S stands for Saiyan, but anyway, I'm not bashing on the video at all. This was another classic video released 11 years ago and has 10 million views. The guy smashed it with the views, so good on him. And there's so much more out there with millions of views when it comes to Dragon Ball. This was during the time before Dragon Ball Super, with the fan mangas like AF and Dragon Ball New Age. And with the millions of views videos like Super Saiyan 1 to Super Saiyan 30 Goku would get, clearly shows that Dragon Ball is still a juggernaut of a franchise, despite at that time there being no series or anything announced. Only Battle of Gods was announced, and that came out back in 2013. But we didn't know what Battle of Gods was going to be, and at that time, we all assumed that this was going to be a one and done. There was no announcement of Dragon Ball Super at that time, so all us fans just thought, okay, great, at least we're getting a film, but that's probably going to be it. But then we eventually did end up getting Dragon Ball Super in 2015, and that started the modern age of Dragon Ball, with the Super anime and manga, as well as the movies that have been coming out. But before Battle of Gods and the announcement of Super, we did have the fan mangas and fan animations, and of course the infamous fan transformations. The Dragon Ball fan base took it upon itself, if we can't get new material for Dragon Ball, then screw it. We will make it ourselves. Again, reminder, the first episode of Dragon Ball Absalon, a fan project made over 12 years ago, has 17 million views. But why did these fan animations and mangas like AF and New Age get so much attention and views? Because it's not like the fan mangas are great stories. It's literally a new big bad villain. And as for New Age and AF, we had two big bad Saiyans in Zycor and Rigor coming in to fight Goku and Vegeta. Zycor being Goku's son, him being half Kai and half Saiyan, whilst Rigor was Vegeta's half half-brother. Same dad, but different mom. And in those mangas, we had some good fights involving Super Saiyan 4 Goku versus Zycor, as well as Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta taking it to Zycor. And these stories were well known in the Dragon Ball fanbase and had virality within the community even back then. Super Saiyan 5 was probably the first viral transformation in the internet era. And that transformation was a fan creation. Dragon Ball has been going viral even without a TV series in place. So what did you expect was going to happen if Dragon Ball came back with a weekly TV series and manga, as well as a successful financial blockbuster movies? Dragon Ball was always going to have hype internet breaking moments, even when there was no series. Super Saiyan 5 was breaking the internet. The wait and the hunger for a new series increased the hype for the show. In Super, the fights that fanbases created in the fan mangas with Goku and Vegeta fighting overpowered characters is what the fans wanted with Super. And then when we don't get it, the fans will make it known that this isn't what we wanted. With the infamous episode 5 fiasco, where that episode broke the internet for all the wrong reasons, with one of the worst animated fight scenes you will ever see. But then we had the Goku Black arc, where we finally see a version of Goku being evil. Goku vs. Hit, when Goku used Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken times 10, that broke the internet and had people hyped. But of course, we get the Tournament of Power, where we had several hype internet breaking moments. I'm sure a lot of you are aware of this, but even the last episode of Dragon Ball Super was being aired as a live show in Mexico. I think episode 130 as well, but definitely episode 131 for sure. Something like that rarely happens. Like, when have you heard that before? Where there is a public screening for an anime show that's not in Japan. If you see the clips for it, it's literally hundreds of people watching it outside on the big screen. That is the definition of hype. And again, that episode was a fight episode and the finale of the Tournament of Power, where Goku and Frieza famously teamed up to defeat Jiren. I think what makes Dragon Ball stand out from the rest of the shows is that it knows how to build up the hype moments and it actually pays off with the hype. With Dragon Ball, the end result of a fight isn't the hype moment. It's the actual fight itself, the choreography, the beam struggles, the iconic moves being displayed, the faster than light hand-to-hand combat. All of these are the staple of Dragon Ball and are key to making Dragon Ball constantly going viral. Dragon Ball has one of the oldest anime fan bases, considering that the manga came out in the 80s. Even the current mangaka are fans of Dragon Ball. Oda is a fan of Dragon Ball and grew up on it, taking inspiration from it as well. So all of these guys that grew up on Dragon Ball are now telling their kids, their younger brothers, and passing it on to a new generation on the epicness of Dragon Ball. Transformations always go viral with Dragon Ball. From Super Saiyan 5 way back in the day to now with Dragon Ball Daima, with Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, and now with Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Even though there are memes and jokes about transformations in Dragon Ball, the transformations still always go viral because that's the payoff of the fight. Daima did it perfectly. Daima had the Dragon Ball blueprint to a T. Daima built up the fight with King Goma and Goku. Daima planted the seeds of the third eye, so when King Goma found the third eye and fused with it, that generated for us wanting to see Goku and Vegeta take on King Goma. Goma was a scumbag of a villain, so he was one of those guys that we wanted to see get battered. So the hype is there for the fans to see Goku or Vegeta versus King Goma, either wanting to see an epic fight between these characters or see Goku or Vegeta absolutely humiliating King Goma. The hype is there, but then the fight turns out to be a battering. It was as if we were watching the original Dragon Ball Z Broly movie, where Broly was dominating each of the Z fighters, even when they all ganged up on him. It didn't work with Broly, and now it's not working with King Goma. In episode 17, all the characters lose their special attacks, and it still didn't work against King Goma. So during the fight itself, we are getting more hyped because we are seeing incredible animation. We want to see our heroes defeat this scumbag of a villain, but we're seeing them lose in a way where it makes sense, with the third eye being such a powerful tool for the Demon Kings. So the fight is hype, just like any other Dragon Ball fight over the years. And we see Goku at the brink of defeat. But then Meva comes in and taps into the hidden dormant power of Super Saiyan 4 for Goku, which is a transformation. And as we have established, transformations go viral in Dragon Ball. So now we have the payoff of the fight between Goku and King Goma, which is the transformation of Super Saiyan 4 Goku being canon. Now, whatever the result of that fight is, it won't matter because the fight did what it needed to do in building up the hype for the payoff, which ends up being an internet-breaking moment from the Dragon Ball franchise. Dragon Ball never needed an intricate story. All it needs is build-ups for fights and the payoff during or at the end of the fight. That's literally it. And because the Dragon Ball fans waited for literally decades to get new content, the anticipation for Dragon Ball content came with high expectations for more hype moments. As much as we make fun of the transformations, we want to see more transformations. We want to see more fights. We want to see beam struggles, and we want to continuously see who Goku and the rest of the Z fighters will be fighting against next. Thank you for watching this video. Please let me know in the comments down below on why you think Dragon Ball is always going viral and breaking the internet. I would love to read your reasons. This is your Tribal Chief. Please make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.